Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the NASCAR Xfinity Series, a rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, welcome. This is a channel where we discuss lots of motorsports, namely NASCAR, ARCA, IndyCar, and Formula One. Those are the series that we cover right now. Eventually, we do plan to broaden that scope, but that's what we cover at the moment. So on today's edition of the Xfinity Series Rewind show, we're looking back at the 37th annual Alsco 300, which took place at the Charlotte Motor Speedway earlier today. 204 laps after overtime on this 1.5 mile oval. And we'll just go ahead and get right into the results. Brad Keselowski, your winner in this one. Didn't necessarily have the best car in the field. I think that was easily Kyle Busch. Kyle, though, pit strategy was kind of an issue for him. Didn't take tires when a lot of the field did take tires late in the race. Then he took tires on the next caution, made a bit of an over-aggressive move on the restart, dips his tires into the grass, and that would be the end of the day. Or the end of the chances for the win for Kyle Busch. As you can see, he came home in the 8th position. Cole Custer and Christopher Bell both gave Brad a really good run there at the end of the race. Unfortunately, just didn't seem like either one could really get to that 22 car there on that final run, especially in overtime. Just the 22 was a lot better on short runs than he was on long runs, so really, Brad kind of had it in the bag on overtime as long as he didn't spin his tires or something to that effect. As long as he could get a good launch on the restart, get the lead, it was pretty much over. Led 77 laps on the day, did Brad. That was the second highest total behind Kyle Busch, who led 93. Cole Custer in second also led 29 laps on the day. The only other drivers to lead laps on the day were Daniel Hemrick with 3 and 1 apiece for Garrett Smithley and J.J. Yaley. Rest of your top 5, Ty Dillon and Elliott Sadler, both with strong runs today. Rounding out the top 10 were Ryan Truex, Daniel Hemrick, who had a great car as well. Unfortunately, kind of got shuffled back on late restarts and wasn't really able to contend for the win. Kyle Busch in 8th, Matt Tifft, and Kaz Grala in his first run in that 61 car came home with a very strong 10th place finish. Kudos to Kaz Grala on that one. Now as we look down here 11th through 20th, Chase Briscoe had a really good run going on the day. Might have possibly been his best finish of the season. And then got caught up in the Kyle Busch mess. Just absolutely had nowhere to go when Kyle Busch starts spinning, and had no choice but to kind of run into Kyle Busch because there wasn't anywhere to go. Kyle spins right in front of him. Chase really couldn't do anything there. Good rebound, though, for the 98 to finish in 11th. Good run out of Michael Annett, one of his stronger runs of the season there in 12th. Austin Cindric in the 12 car this week comes home in 16th. Ty Majeski down here in 22nd. He had a really good run going today as well. Unfortunately, he got caught up in a mess as well. Again, one that wasn't of his own doing, and that just started a free fall for the rest of the day. Tyler Reddick there in 23rd. Another guy that had a decent run going on and then just, for whatever reason, seemed to get caught up in wreck after wreck throughout the day. And just 23rd on the day for Tyler Reddick. Not the day he was looking for, and does take a hit in the points from that. We'll see that here in a moment. Ryan Reed in 29th. Jamie McMurray got caught up in a wreck late, 31st for him. Justin Allgaier, same thing, 32nd. Chase Elliott had transmission issues there early in the third stage. That relegated him to a 37th place finish in that 23 car this week, filling in for Spencer Gallagher, who has not returned yet. So that's your results from the Alsco 300. Now let's head over to the Media Center and we'll get thoughts post-race from your top 3 finishers. We got Cole Custer and Christopher Bell first, and then Brad Keselowski after that. Let's take a look.
Well, we knew it was going to be crazy, I guess, and it was mostly just how you're going to get going in the restart zone and how all that was going to play out, because it was so important to get momentum and try and get a run. So it was just trying to do that and get yourself cleared and get yourself some clean air. So it was definitely pretty tough, but 22 obviously had the most clean air there, so they won.
Yeah, I was just heartbroken whenever I saw that piece of debris fly off those lap cars. Felt like we were really starting to make some runs there. I think we were coming to 2 to go, and I was getting the top going pretty good in 1 and 2. So felt like I was going to have a shot at him if the yellow didn't come out. And then obviously when the yellow came out, I did have a shot at him and just didn't execute on that last restart.
Yeah, the strategy was kind of all over the place. Definitely an up and down day for us. And to be honest with you, when we pitted last for tires, I didn't know that it was the right call. I kind of regretted it at that point. We talked about doing the opposite of the leaders, and I knew that was the right call at that point. But I was really hoping it was going to be those guys pitting, and we would have a set of tires to put on later on, because we seem to be a really good short run car. But with the way that circumstances played out, the red flag, multiple cautions, it seemed like it equalized when those guys took their tires. So the rain definitely helped us. It was a tough one to call from that standpoint, because the radar, it wasn't like you just had one storm cell. So typical summer here in North Carolina, you're just you're watching for where the pop-up storms are going to come from.
Yeah, there's just a lot to talk about from today. It's hard to pick a place to start, to be quite honest. Just kind of an eventful day from the rain and everything that happened there. Strategies and the car handling and things going on this week with Roger in the Hall of Fame. But so far it's been a great week, and I couldn't ask for a much better start for Memorial Day weekend than to bring home a win. So really proud of everyone on the team, Brian here, and the sponsors, Fitzgerald Gliders and Ford, for the car that was well prepared and in a spot to be able to execute a day like today. But I think it was definitely a perseverance day. It was brutally hot out there. The humidity was just killer. I usually don't get that hot in a race car, but it was smoking out there. There was a couple times where I swear the inside of the car was burning from the water and humidity, but that's just part of the challenge of racing on days like this, and glad to bring it home first, that's for sure.
A very up and down day for Brad Keselowski indeed. He does, though, park it in victory lane to end the day. So let's look at your point standings following the Alsco 300, race number 11 on the season. Not a lot of changing this week. Christopher Bell does leapfrog over Justin Allgaier to the top of the playoff grid as Allgaier falls to third. Reddick stays status quo in second after Reddick and Allgaier both have their disappointing days. The only other change here that we will see will be Michael Annett now into the playoff grid in 12th, with Ross Chastain falling out into 13th, and Kaz Gralla with his strong top 10 jumps up a couple of spots into that 15th position, so he is getting back ever closer to possibly getting into the playoffs once again. He was in there early in the season and then just slowly started to fall off while he was in that 24 car. And now that he's in that 61, maybe we'll see some good runs out of him going forward and possibly making a run to get back into the playoffs. So that is your standings following the Alsco 300 Charlotte Motor Speedway this week. So I think that will do it for this week's NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind show. We will have a Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series preview show going up here in a little bit, previewing the Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow night. So you want to check that out as well and get all the information you need to know ahead of the Coke 600. If you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss a thing from Racing News Now. Hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. And don't forget to support us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/racingnewsnow. It is by no means required, but we do appreciate it when you help us out on Patreon, because that just continues to help us grow and give you better quality content into the future. So with that, this has been the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.